Hello everyone, my name is Kate and today we're gonna be talking about the connection between doodling and memory retention and my personal fear of dementia. Today I decided to make something different. I want to share something personal with you. Lately I've been thinking a lot about memory, specifically what happens when we start to lose it. Dementia and Alzheimer's disease, honestly, that terrifies me. The idea of forgetting names, faces, even my own experiences, it's something I can't ignore. And I want to discuss this topic while I'm sketching with a pencil for my February bullet journal setup. So, I started researching ways to keep my brain sharp, to hold on to my memories for as long as possible. And surprisingly, one of the simplest tools I discovered is something I already started incorporating into my day-to-day life without realizing its power. It's doodling. Doodling isn't just a mindless habit. Science shows that it actually straightens memory and keeps the brain engaged. In this video, I'll explore the fascinating connection between doodling and memory retention, and why it might be just a small but powerful defense against cognitive decline. Let's dive in. The science of doodling and the brain. When I was younger, I used to think doodling was just a distraction. Even now, sometimes I think I'm too anxious when I start doodling on the side of my notes on the boring Zoom meet. But it turns out, when we doodle, multiple areas of our brain activate. Visual processing. This happens in the occipital lobe, the part of your brain responsible for interpreting what you see. When you doodle, you're engaging with shapes, patterns, and spatial relationships, turning abstract concepts into something visual. This helps your brain create stronger memory associations. Motor skills. Doodling isn't just a mental activity, it's also a physical one. The act of moving your hand across the page engages the motor cortex, which strengthens neural connections. Studies show that combining movement with learning enhances memory, which is why writing things down helps you remember better than just reading them. Cognitive function. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for attention and problem solving, stays subtly engaged while you doodle. Instead of completely zoning out, your brain remains in a state of light focus, not too relaxed but not too overstimulated either. This balance helps prevent daydreaming while keeping you engaged just enough to absorb information. One of the most famous studies on this was done by psychologist Andrade in 2009. Participants were asked to listen to a long, boring list of names. Half of them just listened. The other half were asked to doodle while listening. And guess what? The doodlers remembered 29% more information than those who didn't. Why? Because doodling prevents our minds from wandering too far. It keeps us in what scientists call a light attention state, engaged just enough to absorb information but not too overwhelmed by it. I looked through my old notebooks and realized something. Whenever I doodled during a class or a meeting, I could remember exactly what was being discussed at that moment. It's like my brain stored the information with the doodle itself. The links to the articles and studies I used for creating this video are below in the description. Doodling as a memory booster and its role in preventing cognitive decline. This got me thinking. If doodling can help us retain information right now, can it also help in the long run? Can it protect us from memory loss, even from diseases like dementia? Research suggests that engaging in creative activities like drawing, doodling, and even coloring can strengthen neural pathways and help delay cognitive decline. When we create visual connections between ideas, we reinforce memory storage, kind of like giving our brain a safety net. This is particularly important because as we age, our brain undergoes changes that can impact our ability to recall information, solve problems, and even recognize familiar faces. Engaging in creative activities like doodling helps keep the brain active. When in turn strengthens the neural networks that support memory and cognitive function. These creative exercises provide a mental workout for the brain, stimulating areas responsible for memory, visual processing, and even emotion regulation. One study, for example, found that seniors who regularly engaged in creative activities like sketching, painting, and doodling exhibited significantly better memory retention and cognitive function compared to those who didn't. These seniors demonstrated improved recall abilities, better problem-solving skills, and maintained greater mental flexibility. The brain, it turns out, thrives for novelty and stimulation. By participating in these activities, we can prevent cognitive decline from progressing too quickly, maintaining a sharper mind for longer. And for someone like me who worries about dementia, it's a game changer. The fear of losing memories, of not being able to recognize loved ones, is something that weighs heavily on my mind. But knowing that something as simple, as accessible as doodling can help protect my memory is both reassuring and empowering. It's a small but powerful habit that, when practiced consistently, could play a vital role in keeping my brain healthy and resilient against the cognitive challenges of aging. I don't want to forget the important moments of my life. I don't want to lose the ability to recognize my loved ones. And if something as simple as doodling can help keep my mind active, then why wouldn't I make it a daily habit? How to use doodling for memory retention. Alright, now let's talk about how you can use doodling to improve memory and learning. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone who wants to keep their brain sharp, here are some techniques to try. First, thematic doodling. Instead of just writing notes, add small sketches to represent key concepts. This makes information more memorable because your brain links it to a visual cue. When you're studying or taking notes, your brain processes words and images differently. Words can be abstract and sometimes hard to remember, but visual representations like simple sketches or symbols give your brain something concrete to latch onto. For example, if you're studying history, you could draw a small flag to represent a country, or a simple clock to represent a significant time period. By associating these visuals with the information, your brain forms a stronger connection, making it easier to recall later. Visuals also provide a mental anchor for the information, so when you're trying to remember a concept, the image helps trigger your memory. Thematic doodling doesn't just help with retaining information, it helps in retrieving it more quickly when we need it. You're creating a mental map where images and words are interconnected, making studying and information recall feel more natural. Second, doodling keywords. When taking notes, highlight key terms and draw small images next to them. This turns words into visual symbols that are easier to recall. When we highlight keywords in our notes, we often focus on the text itself. However, adding a small doodle or image next to each keyword elevates this process. Let's say you're studying biology and you write the word photosynthesis. By drawing a small sun or a leaf next to it, you're turning an abstract concept into something more tangible. This simple association allows the brain to make the connection between the word and its real-world application, which improves memory retention. It's like translating complex concepts into a visual language that your brain understands more easily. Furthermore, when you go back to review your notes, the drawing instantly evokes the concept, allowing you to recall more detailed information without having to read entire paragraphs. You can think of it as transforming words into symbols, creating a shortcut for your brain to access that information. Number 3. Doodle journaling for memory strengthening. Try keeping a daily doodle journal. Sketch simple images of things that happened during your day. This not only preserves memories but strengthens the brain's ability to recall them later. Doodle journaling is a creative way to document your day and keep your memories fresh. Instead of writing long paragraphs, try capturing the essence of your day with simple sketches. You could sketch a cup of coffee to remind you of a morning meeting or a tree you passed on your walk home. These small drawings don't need to be perfect or intricate, just enough to serve as a mental anchor. The act of drawing engages your brain's visual and motor processing centers, which helps cement those memories. What's even more powerful is the idea of revisiting those drawings in the future. Looking back at your doodles acts as a time capsule, unlocking a specific moment or feeling tied to that image. Over time, you're not just keeping a record of your days, you're actively reinforcing your brain's ability to recall those memories. Plus, the act of reflecting on past doodles helps train your brain to remember details more easily, reinforcing the neural pathways that supports memory. And in conclusion, I want to talk about my personal commitment and encouragement. I've made a decision. Starting today, I'm going to doodle every week till the end of the year. Not just for fun, but as a way to straighten my memory, to hold on to the moments that matter, and maybe even protect my brain from future decline. I'm filming this video on the 7th week of the year. Each year has 52 weeks, so using a small mathematical action, I discovered the magic number 35. So in the end of the year, I should have 35 doodles or small sketches. Surely we'll do a video about it in the conclusion. I wish I could do this every day, but I have a 9-to-5 regular job, so I don't think every day will be an opt for me. But once a week for half of an hour or an hour, this is the best schedule for me for now. And I want to challenge you to do the same. Whether it's in your notebook or a napkin or in a dedicated skate journal, start doodling. It's not just a fun pastime, it's a tool for your brain, your memory, and maybe even your future self. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you doodle? Have you noticed it helps your memory? Or do you also worry about cognitive decline like I do? Let's talk in the comments below. And that's it for today's topic. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe for more content on brain health and creativity. And check out my next video where we explore probably more ways to train your memory. See you next time.